You are listening to CrossTalk, a safe place to discuss addiction, recovery, harm reduction, and everything in between. Support for this podcast comes from the Kentucky Opioid Response Effort and Advocates of Recovery. Content and production by the team at Turning Point Recovery Community Center. Now, buckle up and get ready for the show.
Welcome to CrossTalk Recovery, the recovery podcast that supports all forms of recovery. I'm Matt Lewis, and I'm here with
Autumn Darnell,
Gene Bethel,
Raj Christian.
Welcome you all. Raj back again. We can't get rid of him.
Guess who's back?
Happy to have him back.
Back again.
Autumn and Gene, both also Oxford House.
yes.
What are they called?
Members?
Okay. I was going to say alumni, and that was wrong. But they will be.
Well, he's an alumni. We're not.
I know what he is.
One day.
Not yet.
Well,
Yes. But Gene wanted to come on, and so did Autumn, to discuss some things, tell a little bit of their story, and talk about some exciting stuff going on at Oxford House. And we're happy to allow people to come on and share their stories. And we support Oxford House and love what they do. So I was glad to have them on. And, and they dragged Raj with them. So, anyway,
But it's
I
a
love
great-
giving Raj a hard time.
It's a great thing to do on a snow day. We had nothing to do but recovery.
Yeah, it did work out.
I'm
We're
saying?
actually recording this on the 19th of February, and this won't be out till mid-March. So, you guys know. Getting one in the books, in the bag, so to speak.
Unreserved.
But it's all right because recovery is timeless.
Absolutely.
It's a lifelong process.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hopefully you guys will still be sober when this comes out.
Of course. One day at a time.
Yeah. All right. Nobody likes my jokes today. All right. So, let's start with you, Gene. Tell us a little bit about your recovery journey. I know some of it, but I'm sure I'll be surprised by some of this as well.
Well, so for me, I started out 12 years old smoking weed. Kind of maintained that. Well, just really that's all I really knew about. I kind of grew up in a situation where, come to find out, and not to blame anybody. I made my own choices, but family, my dad, he turns out, he was selling pot and stuff like that. Come to find out later. And my mom also smoked pot too. So I started smoking when I was like 12. When I was 14, I got caught stealing a pack of rolling papers at the local grocery store. So that's kind of how my mom found out I was smoking pot. And she was okay with it because she smoked pot. It wasn't that big of a deal. So that went on for a little while. And then when I was 15, my mom, she committed suicide, and that kind of started my, my, I guess you'd say, curiosity, because I started hanging around with older people, stuff like that, and so it led to this and that, and whatever, hey, try this, okay, try that, yeah, it's cool. And by the time I was 18, I pretty much tried everything but PCP and heroin, and still to this day, those are two substances I haven't touched. But, as time went on, when I was like 23, I got with a woman, ended up getting married to her in 2006. And so from the time of like 2006 to 2015, I had a little run-in with pills, but basically just drank and smoked pot. Of course, I was still an addict. I always had to have something. You know what I mean? I just I call it flying under the radar. I didn't really get in trouble. I worked and I functioned, but it's still at the end of the day, I could, I at least had to have some, I had to smoke pot or something. I had to have some kind of mind alteration.
Yeah.
And then kind of got turned back on the meth. I tried it when I was younger, of course, and then the ice came around, and I started doing that. And then from there forward, like I said, it was about 2014 is when I started. In 2015, my wife and I ended up losing custody of our kids, and that was a big downward spiral for me. Once that happened, and then I got into the business aspect of it, selling a lot of it, things like that. And of course, in my mind, I was like, I'm just trying to support my habit, but it ended up being a lot more than that in the end.
Sure.
And then probably about 2018, that's when I turned to the needle and became an IV user, and that's where it all got bad. Ended up getting in trouble. In my addiction, one of the things that I definitely am is a thief. Ended up getting caught breaking into a barn, actually, and they didn't even know I did it until I finally fessed up to it. They couldn't figure out how I got in there, and something got found. One thing that got found that was missing from there that they didn't even know that was missing along with other things, but they knew it was come out of their barn. And so to keep other people out of all the stuff that I'd taken and sold, and I just fessed up, yeah, I did it. That's the end of it. You can't do anything to anybody else, what I did with it. But I'm taking my charge, and let's move on. Tried to probate, in and out of jail for violations, stuff like that. Finally ended me up in prison. Got out of prison, on a new fresh start, no paper or anything like that. And ended up doing good for a month or two. I got back into the, trying to sell drugs and things like that. Was working and doing that. And then, of course, that wasn't feeding my needs, and I resorted back to other illegal activities. I got caught breaking in some storage units, and that caught me another charge. And the DA was like, finally, I was like, well, I'm just going to go to rehab. And my lawyer and the DA was like, well, we don't care about any of that. You're still going back to prison. But my higher power had a different, story for me. And so ended up going to treatment and coming into Oxford House. I lived in Oxford House for about 6 months. Ended up getting my own place and moving out. And then, of course, the relapse came right after that. I experienced that. I went really hard for a couple of months, and then I'd finally I had to surrender to the fact that I can't keep doing this. I've got to do something else. And so I went back into treatment, and then from treatment, while I was there, really didn't think about coming back to Oxford House at first, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, that 6 months I was in Oxford House and the things I were doing, they did work, so I made that decision to come back to Oxford House, and so here I am a year and a half later, still sober, man. Everything's working, so everything's going good. So that's pretty much a snapshot from then to now for me.
Yeah, it's a journey. A lot of us have similar experiences like that, man. To be able to recognize after only a few months of your relapse, and to be able to reel it back in and get back into treatment where you went through changes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then get back into Oxford House that just provides you with that structure and accountability and opportunity to grow that is so crucial in early recovery. It's a good thing, man. I mean, you're fortunate in an aspect that on your relapse you didn't go out and catch a bunch more charges, or that
absolutely.
It wasn't like a longer extended, like you're blessed in that aspect. And you've been doing great, man. It's been great seeing you around since you came back and doing good and trying to help people.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I took a whole new different outlook on everything, and I've stood firm on trying to work my program 360 degrees, with my, at home, at work, in the community, at meetings, trying to help people and stuff like that, and I just feel like for some reason maybe, keeping it on me is that I needed to experience that relapse, for it to open my eyes up and to make me understand that I can't continue living that way. You know what I mean? That's what it, because when I went back out, it was a lot different. Everything was, I'd heard stories, people say, it's a lot darker, and I definitely experienced that. It definitely is. Nothing's the same. There's absolutely no enjoyment. To be honest, I was the type of person that I like to get high. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to do. And so when I went back out, it was like, I'm not even enjoying this stuff anymore. So, this is definitely where I've got to stand up, and so I picked up that phone and I talked, got in touch with Changes. The first thing I did was check and see if I still had insurance. So I was like, all right, cool, I can go, you know what I mean? I know for a fact I can get a bed. And so, I hit them up and they were like, come on tomorrow. And so I didn't hesitate, I went. You know what I'm saying? And I've never looked back.
So speaking on Gene's first time around in the Oxford house, me and him, we were both chapter members, and me and him, we butted heads. We didn't get along at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Did not like each other.
So he had moved out, and so then us being in the house and us seeing him around town where he was at, where he was living type stuff, I knew what was eventually going to happen, and it did happen. And then when he went to rehab, I didn't know, but then he had called for a waiting list to get into bed. And us at Chapter, we were like, I've known him, and I was like, but we can't deny anyone coming back into a house because we have the tradition, which was a provision to allow an alcoholic and addict to come into a safe, sober, a reliable environment. So when he got back in,
recovery's always about second, third, fourth, fifth chances anyway.
So, but his time around this time, he's done exceptionally. People say 360, but that's where you end up where you started up. He's done a 180. You know what I'm saying? Like he's completely different from what he was before. Before he not to put it out, but he was like, they thought the name of the game was headhunting people in the house and not helping them, then just kicking them out. So he's reversed that, and he's been an exceptional leader in the Oxford house. He's also now got a state position like I had, and I still have as an alumni. So he's done exceptionally great, and I'm proud of him from where he's been, where he's gone, and where he was at and came back to.
Yeah.
So
it's great. It's a success story and a friendship story.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A bromance, if you would go.
So sweet.
Well, you can call it that if you want. All right, man. Yeah, but I too am proud of you, man, and I've seen a lot of change in you. And Gene goes to my same church. I see him there all the time, and so he's doing good things. And I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
As a woman in recovery, I know how important having a fellowship of women has been for me. Come join us at the Women of Worth All Recovery Support Group here at Turning Point, 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky, every Friday night at 6 p.m., where we discuss our personal experiences in recovery. Hope to see you there.
Did you know that recovery from substance use disorder and mental health go hand in hand? That is why the caring and compassionate mental health professionals at Four Rivers Behavioral Health in Paducah are here to help you find your balance. They are proud of you for making the changes necessary to live a healthier life and would love to see you reach your full potential. Give them a call at 270-442-7121 or stop by the downtown location at 425 Broadway in Paducah, Kentucky.
Appreciate it.
So, Autumn,
Yes, sir.
once known as a chronic relapser.
Yes. I've been in and out of recovery since I was 21. I don't know. I haven't really told much of my story. I've only done it a few times, so it's a little nerve-wracking right now. But growing up, I lived with my mom. She was a single mother. My dad was in and out of prison my entire life, and like during the times that he would be out of prison and I would go visit him and stuff, he would always take me to parties. And I was real young, so, things happened as a child. With me being a female and me being around a bunch of men, I was molested as a child. So that stems, my addiction stems from, being molested and growing up without a dad and having those abandonment issues. I was 12 whenever I first started, experiencing with certain little things. But it started giving me panic attacks. That's when my panic attacks started, and I didn't realize that it was the marijuana that, flipped that switch in my brain. And I don't know, I had a lot of issues with trying to find a relationship, being in and out of relationships, trying to fill that void with a man or a substance. I had a lot of dry time. At 17, I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, and I soon there got married afterwards. We were only married for like 4 months, and then I ended up leaving him and her at the same time. She was 6 weeks old, and I started living with these 3 guys, and they were doing meth. I didn't know anything about meth. I'd never tried meth or anything like that. I was just, drinking and smoking weed and taking pills and stuff, and just running around. Like, I did not care about nothing and nobody. I was a very selfish person. Like, I wouldn't visit my daughter or anything like that. Let's see. I think Brianna was probably about 9 months old, and I got pregnant with my oldest son, Dalton. Every time I got pregnant, I stayed clean, and I tried to do the right thing. And when Dalton was 6 months old, I got pregnant with Lexi, and I was homeless at the time. And I didn't want to be pregnant with Lexi at all. I was drinking and stuff for the first maybe like month or so, and I was really depressed during that time as well. I ended up having her and getting an apartment, and then I stayed clean for about 2 years. And then in 2009, I gave up my daughter for adoption, my oldest daughter for adoption, and then my 2 middle children got their grandparents and fathers got primary custody of them. So at that point in my life, I felt like, I had nothing else to live for. I had no purpose at all. So I ended up meeting another guy. I moved in with him, and then I started doing meth for probably about 10 months. And then I got clean again, and then I, went back and forth. Like in 2012 was when I started going to Brown Street AA meetings, and, I would go and, say that I was going to get clean and do all these things, but I never truly knew that I needed to, take a look at myself and work on myself. I blamed everybody else for all the things that I was going through, like my kids getting taken away, that I didn't get them back, for me being homeless or me being in a relationship. Like, it was nobody's fault, or it wasn't my fault. It was everybody else's fault. It was my dad's fault for not being there. It was my mom's fault for not knowing how to be a mother. Let's see. So in 2009, I was clean for about a couple months after all that happened. My daughter, I was in a relationship with somebody else, and he fell with my daughter, and that's when DCBS got called in, and then she got taken away for a month, and then my son also got taken away for a month, and then all that happened, and they got custody. Sorry, I backtracked it a little bit. In 2012 was really, really bad. I was taking a lot of Xanaxes and going to the bar every single night. That's when I actually stopped smoking meth. But I was doing everything else. I was taking pills and drinking and partying and stuff like that. I was clean from that for about 5 years, and then in 2017, my mom passed away from leiomyosarcoma cancer. And so I stayed clean for a couple months after that. In November, like right before Thanksgiving, I ended up relapsing on everything. And, since then I went hard, trying to get clean, in and out of AA, in and out of a couple different rehabs. I have gotten in trouble a little bit with some possession of marijuana charges. I had a public intoxication charge and a menacing charge that they dropped. I've never really, been in that big of trouble. However, I got to a point where I was so hopeless and, I felt like I was going to lose my mind. I felt like I was going to die. In 2021, my ex-fiance of about 5-6 years, he overdosed on heroin. He didn't make it. So at that point, I just gave up on life completely. I was running. I went to live with my dad, and I was running around everywhere, driving under the influence. I was breaking into places, and, thankfully I didn't get caught. By the grace of God, I didn't get caught. But I was just doing all the things that I would never, ever do sober. Going to hang out with these random strangers that I didn't know. Just all kinds of absolute madness and craziness. After that, I got into another relationship. We were together for about 4 years. It wasn't a healthy relationship. It was a toxic relationship. I tried to stay clean a few different times then. I wasn't going to meetings. I wasn't doing anything that I needed to do in a healthy way. All my coping skills were either, just focusing on him or doing drugs or, just isolating from the world. I was sick and tired of what I was doing. I was sick and tired of having, constant anxiety and, shaking all the time and just, being afraid to leave the house, being afraid to face the world or do anything. And I was to a point where, I have not been in my kids' life, since they were small. I've been in and out, in and out, in and out. And they've, my son actually has been starting to talk to me again, which is a blessing.
Awesome.
And, I know that with my higher power that eventually all that stuff will come to pass. He works everything out for the good of those who love him. That spirituality part was what I was really missing in all that time that I was trying to get clean, and the willingness and the open-mindedness and the honesty. Yep. Today I know that the problem is me and that I was the one that needed to change, and I was the one that needed to, allow God to control my life and just do the next right thing. I don't know. I just had this sudden urge one morning whenever I was in my relationship that I needed to do something. I needed to get out of the situation. So I ended up going to Hopkinsville to a domestic violence shelter for 3 weeks. And then I called Lifeline, and I got accepted there. And then I went to Lifeline for about 5 months. And I got some clean time, and then I decided that I was ready to leave Lifeline, and I called Oxford House, and they did an emergency meeting for me, and I got in the next day. So I've been there ever since. Oxford House is an amazing place. It really is. There's structure and safety and, a chance for me to get involved and to, be selfless and help others, know that there's another way to live besides just using drugs or depending on other people, like in relationships or whatnot, all those unhealthy things that you can use as coping skills. And going to church, going to therapy, working on all that childhood trauma that I use as an excuse, and the grief of losing my mom or losing my ex, all that grief. I don't have to live that way anymore. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
For sure. That's all I got.
We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, did you know it's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland because they get lonely? Here at Turning Point, we don't want you to ever be lonely either. That's why we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Always feel free to come hang with our friendly staff, and don't forget your guinea pig. We're located at 415 Broadway Street, downtown Paducah.
Hello, everybody. You want to know something? My biggest issue with meetings is despite their name, they are never about me. Here at Turning Point, all of our meetings are for you and about you. We have meetings at least 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We are located at 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky. Call 270-444-3621 for more information.
Thank you for sharing all that. And I know I, for one, have seen a large change in you since when I first met you a few years ago, and you've been in and out. And I've always wanted to see you get this, and to see you like now really grasping it, and to get the spiritual side of it, and be building that, you know, relationship with your higher power, and to be trying to give back and help people. You seem happier now than I've ever seen you. And so I'm really happy for you and proud of you.
Thank you.
And that, you know, the work that you did, you made these choices to better your life. And that's what it takes, like being, you know, willing to do the work, you know, to work on yourself and then to try and help someone else. That's like the core of this whole thing, man. And I've seen you doing that. So it's a great thing. And I know that one of the other reasons you're here today is to talk about some stuff that's going on at Oxford House. You're trying to raise some money for the house that you're in.
Yes, we are doing a shoe drive fundraiser to where we collect any gently worn, used, or new shoes. It's through funds.org.com, and we collect them. We have to get at least 2,500 pairs of shoes, but we have until from February 20th, which is tomorrow, until April 20th. So we have all that time. We'll be like taking boxes to certain locations and stuff so we can gather the donations. And then once the fundraiser is up, they will come pick them up, and then they will be sending them to like 20 plus different countries to help, you know, raise the poverty level over there and help with.
Do you know where some of the places you're going to have donation stations at?
Well, I'm talking to my church, actually, at Grace Fellowship, to see if we can have a donation point there. Since it starts tomorrow, so we haven't really done much on it, but we just have to talk to a few different things. I've started a Oxford House Sonder Facebook page, so I'll be posting a lot of stuff on there. We'll be doing some live events, and we'll have all those pickup locations.
Okay, so that's what that friend request was I got earlier.
I was wondering, I was like,
what is this?
What's
The houses are doing their own Facebook page now?
No.
So you need a total of 2,500 shoes?
Yeah.
Pairs of shoes?
Yeah.
Well,
That's 5,000
It's
shoes.
like it's not by weight or bag size. It's just by the number of shoes.
Right. Our goal is to try to get 100 bags of 25 pairs, and then we'll get $1,000 for that. But if we get more than that, we can get as much.
well, guess what
money
I
as we
got
need
for
to.
you?
I know.
Drum
you
roll,
I got a good
please.
startup point for you.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Rod Ever, putting on a show, has got a huge bag of shoes that he brought in to donate, that somebody donated to him.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so this is a great start for them.
More than maybe one time.
Dude, don't be blocking my shot, man. This is what the I'm just kidding, man. Just lay it down. Yeah.
There you go.
Big bag of shoes,
so
and
much.
none of them will
That's a
fit
great
me.
start.
So
Yeah, me neither. When he first got him, I was
selfish.
Like,
That's
what
the
size you got over
yeah.
there?
That's
So
no.
somebody had hit me up saying, "Hey, you know, banging in your recovery houses that would like some shoes." And I said, "Yeah, we need some shoes." And then they sent me a picture. I went and picked them up. I'm like, "Oh, that's a lot of shoes." I had planned on making a clothing closet for people coming out of jails or rehabs into houses that needed the stuff. But I got big plans, but they don't always work out so well. I kind of got ahead of myself on that one, so this is kind of a good thing that worked out. I was fighting on doing this, but it's for a good cause, and Desi's like, you need to get those damn shoes out.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
like, I had good plans with them, but they would have been sitting around for maybe a year or two before anyone with that size of shoe would have got to them. You know, so I've given out a few pair already, but this is more to a good cause, and hopefully you guys meet your goal.
Appreciate it.
There's about, I think, 30 to 40 pair right there, so you're about 2,230 less.
98 more bags.
yeah.
I'm gonna do as much as possible
Hey,
to
you
get
know,
the community involved and
Reach
send
out
flyers
everywhere
and
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be surprised how many people might help you. I mean, there's a lot of places, you know. I know-
Especially with like the way people are about shoes. Like, I've never been a person who like a sneakerhead or a shoe person, but I have more shoes now than I've ever had, and I'm definitely going to donate some of them because I don't wear half of them. You know, and so, and I know there's a lot of people like that, and a lot of guys in recovery, like. First thing they do when they're not spending their money on drugs is start buying shoes they don't wear.
Right.
Yeah.
They can give them away.
Another good place to probably look at would be like, I know like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and stuff like that, where they got the stuff they've had for a while. Sometimes they'll just throw them in the dumpster and they'll tear them. You know how places do, because I've been a dumpster diver. You know, they got good stuff that's brand new, and you go to get it, and they tore it up because they don't want no one to have it because they can't sell it. So that'd probably be like a good place to start. Would be like, go to them like, look, I'm in recovery. I'm trying to do something different, and I don't want to go through you guys' dumpster because it'll be illegal.
Yeah.
And then be like, can we get some donations and some shoes? You know what I'm saying?
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go in with a flyer and a recovery story. People, open up their wallets, open up their closets. You
can even probably go down to like MBD down in Murray. They got a whole warehouse just full of shoes that they probably, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they do.
Yeah.
So
Starfish may give you some shoes. They got a lot of shoes down there. I mean, I know that they help the public, but it's just you could always try. A lot of these people around here are definitely willing to help people in recovery, especially if they see you trying to help yourself. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely more apt to help somebody that they see that's helping themselves versus somebody that's constantly not trying to help themselves. It goes a long way around here in this recovery community we have here in Paducah.
Yeah, that's one of the most amazing things that you find in recovery is that people are willing to help you when you're willing to help yourself. People will go above and beyond when they see you trying, and that's such a beautiful thing about the recovery process and the journey and the community and the gangsters.
Yeah. So speaking on gangsters, we just had a whole convention of recovery gangsters out there in Kansas. You never questioned me about.
I saw you out there, but I didn't know what you were doing. I saw the Facebook pictures. I was like, oh, he's on a road trip.
It was the first ever Oxford House alumni conference. So they have the World Convention every year. They've had it for the past 25 years, but Oxford House has been around for 50 years. And
I just saw you guys jumping on fart balloons, and I was like, oh, this has got to be.
That was at the Science Museum.
Oh, yeah.
It was right next to the hotel, but it was the first ever alumni conference. And the alumni is people that lived in a house and moved out and want to keep coming back to Oxford House and giving back. And some statistics on Oxford House, I knew this one before, like if you stay in a house 18 months or longer, you have an 85% chance of staying sober long term. Now, if you stay in a house less than 18 months, you have an 80% chance of relapsing. So those are good statistics about Oxford House as a whole. And then it was everyone that was there was alumni from Washington State, from Oregon, from Missouri, from Louisiana, some Texas, Indiana, stuff like that. So we all got together, had the first ever. It was like a epic event. Like it was making history for Oxford House again. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good thing to get involved in. We went to it. We got to see the Science Museum. We was looking for the Yellow Brick Road. We didn't find Oz, but we found a lot of wind. It was really windy out there. And with the cold, it was cold. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you asking about it.
Was that sarcasm? Okay. Listen, bro, we're both very busy people. I'm glad you're doing good things and having fun out there, you know. And I'm proud of all of you for where you've come and what you've achieved and what Oxford House has helped you to achieve. And you're giving your testimonies and testifying about that and sharing your experience, strength, and hope with others. That's what another thing that this is all about.
So I just got one question for you. I know you're an outdoorsman, right? You like to go camping,
Yes.
stuff like that. Are you willing to want to go to an Oxford House? It's the state workshop, and anyone's invited. Anyone can come out, and it's a 3-day. It's two weekends before Memorial Day. It's May 15th, 16th, something like that. And so it's out at Cumberland Falls. You can come out there yourself, and you've heard a lot about Oxford House, but you can come out there as a guest and come sit down and camp with us, people that are from Oxford House, and learn more about why we do what we do. You know,
I would love to do that. I'll have to look. I know I'm going on a vacation with my wife the first week of May. So
Well, this is the
just depends on when I get back. And
this is the second weekend of May.
Right.
So
I just have to take a look at it. But maybe I'll come down for the day or something.
I mean, it's a
at the
6-hour
least.
drive. It's in Cumberland. It's in Corbin, Kentucky. I wouldn't think you just
Oh, like I've never taken a 6-hour,
All right.
12-hour road trip before.
for me. I mean,
Maybe I'll come down for one night.
all right, it's good enough. I mean, it'll be.
We'll try to work it out, man. And I do appreciate you inviting me and trying to include me in these things. You know, and I love that you're involved in them and doing them. I think it would be a blast. Yeah, I would love to. Dude, I miss all the campouts. I miss all the AA campouts and the NA. People tell me the wrong dates, or I have something else going on. You know, I got married at on the last NA campout.
The Energy
so it's
Lake
like,
one?
yeah. So it's always something, man. But those are some things that I do and would like to enjoy, do more of. So maybe as time goes on,
We got good raffles, good stuff that goes on there. You got the Cumberland Falls waterfall. You can experience the moon bow. The moon bow is like you have to have a bunch of.
Yeah, I've been to Cumberland Falls. It's beautiful. up
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
So I mean,
Moonbow.
a moon bow is it's the waterfall, and you have to have a bunch of natural like remedies that come together. You have to have the moonlight, the mist, the fog all across the waterfall, and it turns into a moon bow across the waterfall. It's really beautiful.
Like a
Cool.
rainbow, but with the moon.
Yeah. Awesome.
I just figured we'd invite you.
Thank
I mean,
you.
That way you could.
No, thank you very much, and we will try to work that out because I would love to come
But
up
if
there.
you do want to go, I can send you a registration link where you gotta get registered. And if you do stay the night, it is a $75 for a 3-day thing.
Oh, you just had to ruin it right there.
But if you just come and visit and figure out what we are, I'm sure we can figure something out. You know, because there's
Yeah.
food, raffles, and
$75
stuff.
bucks ain't bad, man. No.
Got a
Good
pool party.
campsite.
I mean, there's a pool out there. We can all go swimming.
Okay,
So
we'll talk about
I
it.
know at one point you was
Put me on
interested in
spot
going.
on the podcast.
I know at one point you was interested
Wait.
in going to World Conference, but
Yeah.
you didn't, you couldn't. So
I know that
Here's
would
a-
be fun.
here's
But-
a lower level of what we do as a state, because we, you know what I'm saying, everything's self-governed by our state.
Maybe you can get it where I perform there, and then I don't have to.
You want to come out and sing? You can sing some of your songs?
Yeah.
All right.
Give me put on a
tried
show.
we tried getting one
and
up.
and then cover my cabin.
Are you not going to tent? You're going to go to a cabin?
I don't know what they got. Is it all tents?
You
Everybody.
got cabins and tents, but
Okay.
normally the OHI.
All I need is a hammock and a tree. You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
We got you. We got a hammock. One that
All right,
lights up.
we'll talk
too.
about it. We'll work it out. That sounds fun. And I appreciate you all coming on. I think, are you guys going to try and do a bingo night too? Raise some money?
Our house hasn't really talked about it, but we're going to do something
Well,
to
maybe.
promote it a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, this is coming out. By the time you guys are listening to this, they're already halfway into raising these shoes. So if you hear this, reach out to Turning Point or Oxford House and try to get involved and help and clean your closet out. Spring cleaning.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Check us out on YouTube or listen to our audio versions on Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music. And as always,
Stay
stay
great.
grateful.
Stay
See, one of these days, people are going to catch on and all do it in unison. Let's try it again. And as always, stay grateful.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction or in recovery and needs guidance, speak with Turning Point's team of peer support specialists by calling 270-444-3621. You are not alone, and we are proof that recovery is possible.